G'day guys and girls, welcome back to Sidequest Gaming, where we take a look at both old games and new to try and uncover some of those little hidden gems you might want to give a crack and try out for yourself. Today we're diving into another demo from the Next Fest. This demo is Rue Valley, which is a bit of a time loop RPG by Owlcat Games. Owlcat Games being one of my favorite developers with some really cool games in the CRPG space. Going to dive in for about 10-20 minutes. As always, going to wrap up with my thoughts and feelings about the game at the end. Let's dive in. All right, so define characteristics. What are we going to be? We're going to be calculated or impulsive. We're going to be introverted or extroverted or sensitive or indifferent. Okay, so what kind of tism do we have? Do we have ADHD or are we ASD? Where are we going to sit? What's our kind of special sauce? Let's go. We're super calculating. Oh, we've got an availability of personality points. So paranoid. Oh, I like this. I know I'm being a bit facetious there, but I actually really enjoy this as a kind of means to develop a character. Awkward, secretive, nosy, arrogant. How interest, guilt-ridden, dramatic, flat, unkind. So they're all somewhat negative to some extent. So we could be a calculating, so we don't want to be indecisive. And how interesting that there's a different definition here. You almost want to fence sit, don't you? But let's, we could be too calculated. No, let's not do that. And we could be extroverted to the point of arrogant. Or we could be introverted to the point of awkward. Interesting that we don't get points back for this. It's just kind of like we've got to spend that many. So we could be a slightly secret, indifferent, and calculated person. So we're not very impulsive. We're pretty cold and we're pretty, yep, cool. We're going to hold to wake up. Loving the art style. The frenetic sound of a century-old clock nudges you back to the present. The stale air perfectly complements the image of the old motel room.
Still with me, Mr. Harrell?
All right. Your personality traits determine your dialogue options. Some options will only be available if you have a certain trait, while others might be blocked by that same trait. Remember, traits are neither good nor bad. They are a crucial part of role-playing a character with real personality. Great, so we're basically just really committed to a roleplay. I really enjoy that. So we can either just nod, or we can lie and say he has my full attention. This is the doctor. He's our doctor here, taking his glasses, freeing his bushy eyebrows. We're just going to nod. He smiles and nods back.
Mr. Harrow, I'm aware of a slight lack of motivation that you may be experiencing right
now. Red ribbons on the character portrait show the status effects of your character currently has. The status effects have a negative impact on your personality and dialogue options. Okay, total lack of motivation. Right, and that's dropped everything. Slight lack of motivation, more like total lack of motivation. Okay. You'd rather stay in bed all day instead of attending this farce they call therapy in the middle of nowhere.
And we'll surely be coming back to this condition of yours later during our sessions.
Personality. Your personality is represented in this part of the screen. It shows your personality axis that you define during character creation, as well as the trait you chose. Select hover over a trait to see what it is and what it does.
But for now, I just want you to acknowledge its existence and try to stay aware of it at all times, if possible.
Okay. Bang. Silence befalls the room. A muffled clanging sound from outside, only making the moment more uncomfortable. Okay. I'm fine. Lie.
That's good to hear. Now, in order to keep us focused, I always limit the session length to exactly 1 hour, hence the alarm.
And for your money.
However, since this is your first session, I'll allow a few questions, if there's anything.
How generous of you. Okay. We can say, can't you simply state that I'm fine so we can both move on with our lives? I can say, is another session really necessary? I was hoping this would be a one-time thing. We can say, why do we have to do this here in the middle of nowhere? And no questions. Let's say, is another session really necessary?
Mr. Harrow, your case is not to be underestimated. We need to assess the situation carefully.
Your case. Not so long ago, nobody cared about what you do. Yet now, suddenly, your business is everyone's business.
This first session is more for you to get acquainted with me and my methods. We have a long road ahead of us.
Yay.
Any other questions?
Can't you simply state that I'm fine so we can both move on with our lives?
Mr. Harrow.
Yes? He looks you straight in the eye.
That is out of the question. This is a court-ordered therapy, and both of us could be fined or worse if we don't see it through.
Well, that's a bit rough. Okay.
And I have my own professional reasons in addition to the legal ones. You require help, and I've been designated to provide it.
He looks away, stern-faced.
I've never let a client down, and I'm not about to start now. Anything else?
Why do we have to do this here in the middle of nowhere?
It may be hard to understand the need for isolation at first, but my methods require complete divergence from the client's regular way of life, as well as temporary distancing from their social groups and circles.
Just pointing out that my leg is going nuts here.
This place is ideal in that regard. However, it's understandable that you need a period of adaptation to both this idea and to your new surroundings. That's also why I haven't asked you to hand over your phone yet. But please don't be alarmed. We'll talk about everything in due time.
He glances at the clock, almost too fast for you to notice.
All right then. That's it for today.
Through the door, you hear that sound again.
You should go and check in at the office. Your room is probably ready by now.
Okay, get up and leave. Let's do it. Okay. No control there, but... Next to you is the source of the clangs you heard from inside a young woman beating up an old vending machine.
Give me my coffee, you jerk!
Alright, we can run by holding down... Should we talk to her? Could she be there for therapy as well? Let's ask. Who knows, but unlike you, she definitely looks like she needs it. Poor woman, she should consult with a real professional, not a charlatan like Dr. Fink. Nobody needs to be sent away from their home to this dump, regardless of their mental state. Let's go with the second. And yet, what is to be done with lunatics like her? Let them rage around freely, yelling and kicking vending machines wherever they go? Well, if they're breaking the law, they should be sent to prison, obviously. Or there must be a better way to help. Nah, send them to jail. Of course. But wait, didn't you break the law too? I don't want to think about that right now. Uh-oh. And blocked by lack of motivation. Okay, we're not motivated to talk to her. I want a coffee. Nope. Okay, until we get motivated, we are not going to be talking to her. What's over here? Machine wheezes. Okay, the art style is absolutely fantastic. Done a really good job on this. Really appealing. Well put together. I can move WASD as well, or I can run with shift. Yeah, that actually feels better to control than point and click, weirdly.
I'll break you open if I have to.
And wants us to go to the front office, right? So let's sprint up here. Lots of little interactables. I'm guessing, yep, here's the office. Let's head on up. That is the most awkward way to climb a set of stairs I think I've ever seen. Wait a minute. Is this the office? No. Oh, I'm an idiot. I went straight past the office. That's a more normal way to go down. I approve. Alright, in we go. Office it is. Let's get our
Rue
room.
Valley Motel. Our Coral Destiny internet antenna is down?
All the attention of the girl behind the counter is occupied by the ongoing phone call.
No, the repair tech already came yesterday. Said the internet will be up by noon today.
She says to the other person on the other side of the call, social check, try to get her attention. We have failed that hard, too introverted. It's best to let her make the first move. She'll soon notice you on her own, end the phone call and ask if she can help you. That's what receptionists are supposed to do. Pretend to look at the leaflets lying on the desk and hope she'll address you eventually. You grab a leaflet and stare through it, mentally preparing for the moment. You grab a leaflet and stare through it, mentally preparing for the imminent conversation. You either manage to look like you're really here for the leaflets, or she simply doesn't care. She responds to the person on the other end. After a few dozen anxiety-filled seconds, you finally realize she's not about to cut her call short just because you happen to show up. Leave. Time in the game does not progress outside of dialogue, so in order to wait until certain events happen, you need to find a way to kill time. Usually you can do that with various items and interactions around. For example, reading a book, scrolling through your phone, or just chilling in a cozy chair. Okay, so we can wait here. Wait, let's have a look. What else is there around? Nothing. Whoop. There's a window that we can stare out potentially. There's a chair there. We can grab the cheap-looking pen. The clerk is laser focused on her call and she doesn't even notice you've grabbed the pen. If you wanted to snatch her attention as well, you've failed. Just put the pen back. Wait patiently doing nothing. Until she finishes the call. The easiest thing, yet so hard. Try it anyway. I think this is going to have a negative effect on us. Time is relative, it flies when you're having fun, but lately for you it has been practically standing still. Minutes pass, but the phone call is still not at its end.
Yes, I have rebooted the modem.
She says to her conversation partner, clearly ignored. Okay, leave that. Let's go sit in the chair.
Of course it's urgent. Our guests don't have Wi-Fi.
Sit down. Okay, we can wait. We can mess with our phone while we wait. The phone bleeps to life with a lock screen that is obviously years old. If it wasn't a collection of pixels, it would be musty with age and neglect. We can wait and play a match of hyper-casual protagonists, or we can wait and scroll through your feed to kill some time. Let's scroll through our feed until she finishes the call. You start scrolling through stale memes, boring news articles, beach photos of ex-acquaintances, and poorly targeted sponsor posts. Scroll down some more. In one picture, a grinning middle-aged stranger is apparently showcasing his newest baby thanks to a cleverly applied filter. Both of them sport donkey ears. Scroll down some more. In an overly long and arguably racist video, a non-native speaker is repetitively making embarrassing linguistic errors. They often turn out to be unintentional double entendres. Hilarity ensues. Continue scrolling. Really waiting this one out. Come on. After a while, you realize that neither of the pictures nor the posts are loading correctly. Check the signal. One bar, but you get the feeling that if it could, it would show half a bar. Seems like all the posts were from some time ago, stashed needlessly away in your phone's memory. Unless you hook up to some local Wi-Fi, you won't get much internet here. The receptionist is still arguing with the internet service provider, and you're getting restless.
Listen, I know what I'm talking about. Your repair tech said it was fixed. Can you just...
Continue? She seems to get interrupted by the person on the other end of the line. Put the phone back. And I guess we wait, doing nothing. Until she finishes the call. Alright, this is probably the last time you'll kill time like this. It's just too boring. Let's stand up. I don't want to waste my phone if I can avoid it. Let's go to the window and stare out the window. The relentless dirt has smudged and stained the glass. Beyond is the endless flat of the desert. Its vastness is hypnotizing. Stare through the window to pass some time. Until she finishes the call. Beyond the empty parking lot, there is only barren desert stretching for as far as the eye can see. Its emptiness is drawing you in. You hear the receptionist mutter as if answering some unasked question of yours. And then you notice small patches of green hidden in the sand. It seems like there's always something to be found in nothingness if you stare at it long enough. Contemplate this profound insight. Try to count how many bushes are out there. Smudge your sweaty fingers all over the glass. Let's contemplate the profound insight. Is nothingness just an illusion? Emptiness but a result of failure to find those little somethings hiding deep inside? Is it possible to find something even inside the most hollow thing, only by observing it over and over again until something eventually appears? The possibility unsettles you, but at the same time your mind seems to lock itself down, unable or unwilling to continue. So you stay in this clinch, unwilling to discard the thought, but unable to proceed. After a while, the window stops being interesting. Time goes by and the girl at the reception desk is still talking.
Misheard? No, she said Sunday noon. I wrote it down. I'm not... Sunday or later? That's... No. This is such a waste of time.
I won't lie, that call feels very familiar. I feel like I've been on a few of those kind of calls myself with maintenance at the house. Finally, the girl hangs up, ending the forever call.
Hi! Can I help you? I would have hung up earlier if I knew you were waiting for me. You're too quiet.
Secretive. No, I just didn't feel like checking in right away.
You didn't feel like it? And how about now?
Now's good, yeah.
Okay, let's get you into your room. So, number 6. That's the last one on the second floor. Everything is ready for you. And...
She raises her hand holding a piece of blue and red plastic.
This is your key card.
Thank you. Nod and wait for her to put it on the counter. Nod and reach for it. You stretch your arm politely, hoping she'll hand you the card, but she's completely ignoring your gesture and is excitedly waving it around.
Oh, I see you're confused by this. You were expecting an old-fashioned key, weren't you? Well, we've decided to modernize for a number of reasons.
That's great. May I? Point towards the keycard. She nods in response, but then continues as if you haven't said anything.
Actually, one reason, to be perfectly honest, the guests just kept on losing their keys. It was exhausting, and my dad didn't like the cost of replacing so many locks.
So we can continue listening to her rambling, or because we're flat, we can actually just close our eyes, turn our senses off, and wait for her to finish. Let's do that. See what happens. Oh, we're actually just straight up gonna sleep on her. After some time, you come back to reality only to find her still talking.
How great is that? It makes my life so much easier.
She takes a deep breath, planning to continue, but a notification sound from her phone interrupts her. She immediately grabs the phone, smiles, and starts typing a message as if she suddenly forgot she was talking to you. But after a few seconds, she puts the phone down and hands you the keycard.
So, here's your keycard, and I'll need your signature here.
Okay, inventory. Items you pick up are stored here. Okay, cool, I understand. Sign the document.
Thank you. I'm here if you need anything.
Alright, bye. Out we go. And up we go. And heading down to our room. Number 6 on the end of the hallway. On the second floor, we said. The paint is peeling from the wood of the door, but number 6 is new, shiny, and chrome. Alright, let's put the keycard in. Unlock the door. A tiny green dot of light shows up near the knob. The door is unlocked. Enter the room. Okay, we have a room. We have a trunk. Hundreds of strangers have slept in this bed, leaving behind flakes of dead skin. Still, you can't wait to jump into the sheets and contribute to the collection. Unfortunately, between you and the object of your desire, on the folded sheets lies a dusty suitcase. Your suitcase, the smallest one you own. Lack of motivation, we can't even open it. I can't deal with this right now. Put it away. Yeah, it's such a chore. But the more you prolong it, the worse it'll get. If you don't unpack it now, it'll feel even harder and more pointless to do it later. Step by step, a simple act of unpacking will become an insurmountable burden, and even thinking about it will make you feel weak and powerless. Do you really want to crawl back into that deep black pit? All right, let's just open the suitcase and get it done already. There's not much in the suitcase: spare clothes, a phone charger, a toothbrush, and a couple of other items. You really weren't planning on staying here long. Well, you better see if they have a laundry facility. Sessions, Dr. Finch said. Days or weeks, months even. Decisional check, unpack the suitcase, or indecisive. All right, let's see whether we can actually unpack it. Success! We did it! Woo! Because we are calculated. Interesting how that mechanic works. I like it. You plug your phone into the charger above the bedside cabinet, put your spare clothes in the closet, your slippers next to your bed, and your toothbrush in a cup in the bathroom near the mirror. And now that the suitcase has been dealt with, the motel room is officially home. It'll do. That's the spirit. All right, so it's getting to that kind of time. What am I thinking about this game? I'll be honest, it's feeling like playing through depression or anxiety or some kind of neurodiversity challenge. And I'm kind of here for it. It's got a real Disco Elysium vibe. The artwork's fantastic. The voice acting's been pretty good. The storyline's definitely interesting. And I'm really intrigued in this mechanic. Something that I think a lot of RPGs and a lot of games are really problematic with these days is the old formula lends itself to a lot of, I guess, save scumming and trying to optimize for the best solution and checking whether you've got the right strength, charisma, agility, etc., and, looking at each option to try and find the right one. I think it takes this kind of uniquely different game designs to force you into just going out on a limb again, fighting those old habits and just making a choice, not actually overdoing it and like falling to the bed. There we go. Because there's not clearly a right or wrong answer. So we're just going to actually dive into the role playing of it and live it, which I think is fantastic because that's entirely the point of a role playing game. And I think for a lot of us as kids, the original Fallouts, games like that, did it for us because we hadn't become as familiar with the tropes and the patterns of those gameplay styles. So we hadn't got used to them in the way that we are now. So when we play the modern versions of them, we're kind of already adapted to it. Anyway, that's my little ramble on that topic. So what do I think of this game so far? Rue Valley is really interesting. As I said, I love our cat games. I think this has a lot of potential. Definitely worth having a look at the demo. It's in the links below. As I said, this is the closest thing I can say that I've experienced so far to a Disco Elysium style of gameplay, both in kind of feel, internal monologue sort of thing that's going on. Even the artwork style is kind of invoking that similar sort of experience. So definitely worth having a look at. It's up at the moment as part of Next Fest, and its official release date, I believe at the moment, is the 3rd of March 2025, so we'll see whether that date holds. Anyway, this has been Sidequest Gaming. If you're liking my content, I'm going to be looking at a bunch of Next Fest games over the next few days. As always, I try to release a video every day. Like, subscribe so that you don't miss any of that content. And as always, have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.